What's up, guys? Welcome back to the iherng podcast, and we have our very long friend now,
Hello.
famous, so hard to catch you.
Huh? So,
Yeah, so we have Ms Rena Choong. Yeah.
hello guys, long time no see.
So you're still the head of mortgage for Far Capital, or what?
This is the introduction. I'm no longer actually. I
so-
pass it out to a new person to take over as a head of mortgage.
So what are you doing there right now?
Right now, my main portfolio is more to taking care of high net worth client.
Cik, orang yang kaya raya semua ni. Yeah.
Okay. Of course, those I think today we will be talking also foreigner purchasing property in Malaysia. Many categories of different type of a foreigner lah, and also those they are earning foreign income. But purchasing property in Malaysia. So that's my main portfolio here and there. But of course, I still do a little bit mortgage related stuff lah.
For mine only. Mine only. The rest you all don't kind of kacau, okay? How are you?
Like that or why?
No, because I see you like...
What ask about status, is it?
No, that one. You want to tell, you tell. So many people ask me about it. But but the thing is about... I see that you are playing a lot of pickleball. That's one thing. Then the other one is I see you going to a lot of courses. You're attending a lot of courses. So what kind of course are you going to?
Some is like insurance, CPD. Some is a loan, processing loan. So also need a certain CPD and to get a license lah, to renew on a per annual basis. Thought that I'm only from Far Capital, right?
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff.
So means like if you want to buy property, I want to get loan, I can still also look for you lah.
Technically can lah. I got a license with a couple of banks.
Lah. But that's your qualification lah. Means you can do it lah. Whether you want or not depends on your time also right?
Correct.
You don't want to go play pickleball right?
A later conflict of interest later Faisal see this
But good to have you. Good to see you back.
Thank you.
After the mortgage series, it has been a year.
I think more than a year. I think this year I didn't come for any of your podcasts. I think the last one was the dilemma of Malaysia working in Singapore. I got. I think quite a fair bit people kecam me in the comment section.
Yeah, everybody whack you right now. I think this shift straight away into the topic for today. So like,
why want to attack me? I was not trying to promote property in Malaysia.
Yeah, correct. That's why. But now, so many foreigners are looking into Malaysia right now. And so many emails like we all know, like Sabah City right now, Mong Kiara right now, Bangsa right now, it's like hotcakes. Everybody is shifting in.
Yep.
And the joke is Sabah City feels like a bird park right now. Because cheap, everything cheap. So you know, literally, like you go into the cafes, you're so cheap, really cheap.
But more to 中国人啦.
Both actually. Some Singaporean audience who are actually decided to work from Malaysia and manage their business in Singapore. And they are very comfortable with Sabah City, Mong Kiara, Paprika area, everywhere like all the tier ones lah. So the question is, can foreigners buy property in Malaysia? Right? If can, how? What is the restrictions? So that's the main question for today lah.
A little bit. I think back to our last podcast, we talked about our local nationality Malaysian working abroad. So today I think this episode is more to, we talk about foreigner purchasing property in Malaysia or how to stay legally and permanently in Malaysia lah. So those that want to check out how Malaysian can actually legally own both property in Singapore and Malaysia can check back the previous podcast.
Episode. That one is a whole different segment.
But please don't continue the comment lah. Okay. Okay. So today, I mean the definition of foreigner, of course, if today you do not hold any of blue IC, blue identification card of Malaysian, that you are considered as a foreigner already. So other than that, we also call foreigner as a non-citizen. So that's the definition, whether today you want to categorize yourself as citizen of Malaysia or non-citizen of Malaysian. So foreigner, we also break it out into, I call it a lot of categories. We have, I think for today, easier purpose, let's just do it Singaporean and Bruneian. Then the second one, other than Singaporean and Bruneian.
They have different segments.
Because the financing, when it comes to Singaporean and Bruneian purchasing in Malaysia, they really have a certain unfair advantage. Nearby our country, they got some kind of different treatment lah.
It's sepupu.
Yeah. Of course, last one I think is foreigner with Singapore permanent residence.
Okay, wait, Singaporeans with Malaysian PR.
Okay, first one is like pure foreigner. We talk about the nearest to our country, which is a Singaporean and Bruneian. Then the second one we have other than Singaporean and Bruneian. Let's say Australian, Canadian, things like that. The third one, where they actually foreigner, it can be from any of the country, but they hold a certain permanent residence in Singapore.
Oh, okay.
So that one also have a certain benefits when they are purchasing property in Malaysia one, but it comes with the margin of finance. Why I don't say foreigner with Malaysian permanent residence? Because it's super hard.
Yeah.
To actually get a Malaysian PR one, especially nowadays.
Yeah, apparently Malaysian PR is very, very hard to get one. Harder than Singapore one.
Yes.
Yeah, because my architect last time they work here, grew up here like for the past 18 years, right? Still cannot get PR one.
Yep. So
it's very, very hard.
Not to say you got the money, you can actually buy Malaysian permanent residence. It's something that I do not know whether the government will be a little bit more lenient nowadays, but until today it's not. It's super hard. So that's why this category also I think the percentage is very low. Another one, of course, is where those foreigners, they are married to another half who is Malaysian. Then that one is totally different story lah, because they hold like a spouse visa. Then the minority will be those foreigner where they do not have any of the citizenship. They are still foreigner, but they have the working permit working in Malaysia. So that one is under like working permit visa lah. Not any of the top 3 categories, I would say.
Okay. So the top 3 categories, just to recap, is Singaporeans and Bruneians. Then we have, other than that, then we have the foreigners with Singapore with
Singapore
PR.
permanent residence. So that, I think, not to confuse everyone, that should be the top 3 of the categories for foreigner lah.
If not others, like why are you buying Malaysia property lah?
Why actually? I think nowadays, especially this year when I start taking care of this portfolio, right? Not to say related to the latest MM2H guideline, why people actually considering to purchase property in Malaysia? I think part of it is of the living expenses. Still affordable. Second one, second one, they can own freehold property as a foreigner. Some other country you can't want. As a foreigner, you can only allowed to purchase leasehold. Then you need to change it from leasehold to freehold. Then I think the third one is landed law. In Malaysia, foreigner can even buy landed leh. Not all the country allow that. So, I mean, if you ask me why foreigner consider to purchase property in Malaysia lah. Other than that, I think it's more to the bank financing. It's still very friendly.
Okay. Cool. So with that, right, what are the different financing available then to this group of people?
So let's look into I think the first category, the Singaporean and Bruneian purchasing property in Malaysia. I think the first very important here is that foreigner will need to know what are the minimum property entry price. So let's say today, if let's say you are foreigner, you're purchasing in KL, the minimum SPA price you must fulfill is 1 million ringgit Malaysia. But if let's say today you are foreigner purchasing property in Selangor, the state of Selangor, then the minimum entry price is SPA RM 2 million ringgit Malaysia. Majority of the state in Malaysia, I think still 1 million. But let's say your SPA price is 1 million, but whether your net selling price is 1 million is totally different story lah. Okay.
So it's you have the extra rebate, discount, underground, but the SPA stamped must be 1 million and above lah.
Correct. Okay.
I say one.
This one the one.
Kecam I, bukan dia.
Okay. So I think particularly one state which is Madini, foreigner, if let's say purchasing that, do not have any of the minimum requirement. SPA 500,000 you're allowed to purchase. So as of today. So I think which is pretty good. Sabah Sarawak, they also have I think 500, Sarawak 500, and then Sabah is 1 million as well.
Yes.
So that is the first one on foreigner purchasing property in Malaysia when it comes to the minimum property entry price. Second one, I think depends on you belong to which type of foreigner lah. A lot of 中国人 they cash buy one. If they don't cash back, also they put in a 50% down payment,
and
things like
that's
that.
how they do it in their country.
Yeah. So it's not a norm actually for, I would say, some other citizenship. They still want to prefer to leverage on the bank to get a certain financing. So of course, the first category, Singaporean, Bruneian, when they purchase property in Malaysia, it can be as high as our local Malaysia margin of finance one, which is up to 90%. So Singaporean,
That's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Don't want to say which bank, but there are one bank can do that. So Singaporean, let's say they are purchasing their first property in Malaysia, they're able to get 90% under one bank. Majority of the banks still can give them up to 80% maximum. So I think it's pretty good lah, comparing to other foreigner where maximum margin of finance roughly about starting from 50 to 70%.
Yeah, for those who wants to know which bank, right, you just DM her. I'll put her Instagram account down below. Okay, the reason is because it will change. So not always one bank. So sometimes they hit target already, they're not as hungry. The other bank will come in lah.
And I think the second one here is that not to say just the margin of finance, which is the second one is a loan tenure. Foreigner, Singaporean, let's talk about the first category. It can be as high as up to 30 years and then up to 65 years old.
Oh.
So let's say today you are Singaporean, you purchasing your first property, you leverage on the bank to get financing. And let's say today you are 50 years old. So you still got a maximum of 15 years of loan tenure. Okay lah.
Very good
80 to 90%, 90%.
Very good
It's like same as Malaysian already.
So this is the best case scenario lah. But then like what are the different factors like the job security and employment status, all this kind of thing, like what other things that do they look at?
I think first one, if let's say today you are foreigner purchasing property in Malaysia, it can be you are physically not staying in Malaysia one. You do here because you have the confidence with property in Malaysia, so investment no. But the second one, it can be those where foreigner, they planning to stay long term permanently in Malaysia. So maybe out of 365 days, they want to stay like 150 days, at least half of the time in Malaysia. So that one, you can't be like just check in, check out in immigration of Malaysia lah. In order for you to stay legally. So that one will require, which is bring up to the next topic, MM2H. So in order for foreigner to stay legally and permanently in Malaysia, one of it you can do is to consider MM2H. But those, if let's say today foreigner purchasing property in Malaysia, but purely on investment, so you just take a bank loan, see which one suitable based on your profile. Then the second one, the criteria how the bank actually judge you as a foreigner when you purchase property, right? First one, I think the most important is your employment status. Which country are you currently working in?
Oh, the currency of your salary also lah.
Yes. And the second one, are you under permanent or contract basis? And of course, the third one is the status of your company. Is that is a MNC?
Big one or small one lah.
So things like that. But income-wise, I think everything when you convert back to ringgit Malaysia,
You're the top 20% lah.
you're T20 lah in Malaysia already lah. So that service ratio-wise should be okay one, income-wise. It's just that on the profile and the credit scoring, when it apply to foreigner is a little bit hard. And the third thing is, as a banker, us is a compliance issue. Are you meeting this foreigner face-to-face to do this loan submission? Things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about like, if this guy is a property investor, he has 7 to 8 properties already, right? Then I come Malaysia, because Sean said this is very good, so we should get. I don't know what I'm sounding on. Don't know the accent come from where. But still, do they check on the previous buying?
Okay, very interesting. I got a lot lah. I mean, if you're talking about client, right? Recent case, Canadian. So staying and working in Toronto. So looking to purchase property in Malaysia because might be have the planning want to retire in Malaysia lah somehow lah. Things like that.
Selamat datang.
So currently he got, I think, close to 10 property overseas overseas property, not Malaysia. Malaysia 0. So of course, I have to calculate first thing lah, income because you have so many property overseas, right? Majority of the bank also will take into account your commitment.
But how they know?
Got the credit report one.
Oh.
So Malaysia we call it secret report
they have their
Singapore is Credit Bureau, Singapore CBS. Other country also Experian, things like that, etc.
Also, it's a requirement you must submit one.
Yes.
Okay, so but it only ties to the country that you reside in, if I got multiple across multiple countries there?
You mean you are working in multiple?
No, okay. So let's say I work in Canada. I got property in Bali lah, Vietnam lah, London lah, Malaysia. I want to buy. So then when I submit, right, in Canada I only got one. But in London and
normally we will say that, let's say today you are working in which country, then
I only check that country only lah.
the bank normally will ask back your initial or your kampong lah, your country of origin, the financial report.
But they will also ask you to like, okay, you must declare also lah. Is there such thing?
No lah, not really lah.
Not really lah. Okay, I see. Okay. Oh, I just found a loophole. Okay, so I keep finding loopholes around every system. Anyway, so like when we come to this, did he get the deal? The Toronto guy? Or haven't start lah?
Particularly one reason is he was actually looking for higher margin of finance lah, which is at least 70% or 80%. But since he's working not in Singapore, not in Malaysia,
not in Brunei.
Yes, so maximum right now we are talking about 50 to 60. So that's why he paused a little bit because there needs a certain of the down payment lah, since the margin of finance is quite low.
Yep. So that's why a lot of friends from China, right? This is very good already. Like you give them 50%, right? It's very good already.
China is totally different story.
They get 20%, 30% loan only. And their property price is like 10 times the price of what we have in Selangor. And things like that.
2 by 1, 3 by 1. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a very different ball game. And this episode should be made for Hari Merdeka lah. Right? Malaysia is so beautiful. We can get so many things, right? Wow, I'm getting paranoid already because like if all these people just still come in, wow.
I think recently, really a lot coming to Malaysia for tourism or to settle down for education or business purpose. I mean, a few of my properties, when it comes to rental, is increased lah. And when I check it out, when I visit there, I saw a lot of
foreigners lah.
Yes.
Cool. So, MM2H, to me, I was following very tightly to an extent where it keeps getting revised, right? I just gave up.
Yes.
I really just like, okay, don't say for foreigners, right? You all whack. Hey, Sean, you should tell your government to do better. How I wish. You think I YB, meh? I'm not YB. I'm just a normal citizen who also wish that there will be proper outlay of system.
Yeah lah, we are not Singapore, right? Eventually, Malaysia boleh.
But
we will improve time by time.
But I think it's getting there. So like, what is the latest update for MM2H right now?
Okay, I think the second category, the one that you are asking right now, will be in order to allow foreigner to stay legally and permanently in Malaysia. It's either they are coming to Malaysia with an employment pass lah, which means in this case you are hired under a certain company. So you got working permit, all this sponsored. But if let's say you do not have all these under the employment basis, but you want to stay long term in Malaysia, then I think another one option is the digital nomad one. Then the more premium version, which is the latest MM2H, I think the government just revised it 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, June or July somewhere. So our previous MM2H was back in, I think the recent one started 2022, and then I do not know how long it lasts until somewhere 2023. Then it paused for a while by our government due to a certain, I think, politics issue whatsoever, I don't know. Okay, then the reason 2024 MM2H just started. So on off, I would say nowadays still got a little bit guideline changes one. But today, the one that I'm referring to right now should be whatsoever that I'm sharing today.
Should be the latest of today lah.
Yes. So the previous one, I'm not sure what's your opinion lah. For me, it's like a restriction or a roadblock. You foreign, don't come to Malaysia.
But I think, does it affect the market? Not really, because market also very bad that time.
Maybe lah, but the requirement is a bit crazy.
Yeah lah, the requirement is a bit crazy at that time. But that time also traveling not very friendly
2022
COVID time So like really like has no effect at all because we didn't really see any effect. But of course, city centre suffered a lot of tier 1 properties like Mont Kiara, KLCC especially, all those suffered a lot because the main target audience of the city has always been for foreigners. No locals buy KLCC project. So when that implemented, right, suddenly like, whoa. But slowly, but now eventually still got people come in. Despite all that, right, you can still see people crawling in, and every foreigner that I meet in Bukit Jalil ke, in Subang ke, Subang also I see. Like sometimes like when I'm walking around the park with my kid, right, I see foreigner, right, I ask them, are you lost? I go OUG, Pasar Malam, why are you here?
But they are here for education or business or what?
Sometimes I ask very detailed, sometimes I don't ask. Like, very sensitive, So like,
Yeah.
hi Sean, I watch your channel. Because of you, I stay Bukit Jalil. Bukit Jalil is awesome. They're like, okay, very good. Then we should golf sometimes together, you know. Where
So
you?
this is the Ang Mo kind of
The
foreigner
Ang Mo
lah.
lah, the Ang Mo type. Not the Chinese one. They don't really watch, because I speak Ang Mo
Yeah, lah.
I speak English
They are watching the China YouTuber lah, which sometimes I watch also lah.
Yeah, so now there's a lot of Chinese YouTubers
Yes.
that is setting up the channel in Malaysia.
Yes, in Malaysia.
It's like agencies. They are now treating themselves
Yes.
like agencies where you come in, I help you find a place, find a school,
Yes.
do MM2H, where's the best place for the Chinese food, where's the best place for their grocer and things like that. All dedicated one.
Yeah.
Which I like also. Then you can see from Penang got a few, KL now got a few, Johor don't have yet lah, not many. Because Johor mainly is still Singaporeans going in. You are in anyway every weekend, so I don't think it's going to be that different. So for MM2H now, maybe you can just bring us through like what are the package right now?
If I were to compare the previous latest MM2H comparing to the latest 2024 MM2H, I think the main difference is come to the financial requirement. The previous one, when it comes to your financial requirement, you must show at least, I think, 1 million ringgit Malaysia already. And you must have a active, or they call it offshore income on a monthly basis, 40,000 ringgit Malaysia. So these things no longer relevant in today MM2H.
Okay.
So if let's say today you do not have any active income on monthly basis, but you do have the money,
Still okay.
you can apply MM2H already.
Okay.
But today 2024 MM2H, they break it out into 3 tier. Got multiple lah. Let's proceed the first one. They call it MM2H 3 tiering. MM2H Platinum, MM2H Gold, and MM2H Silver.
This sounds like MLM like that.
3 tier one. Okay.
Okay.
Then the latest, I think just 2 or 3 weeks ago, MM2H Special Economic Zone, Special Financing Zone, SEZ, SFZ. Of course, we also have MM2H Sabah, MM2H Sarawak.
Okay lah, let's roll lah.
That's why I will need to refer here. I can't memorize all this. So
But this kind of information, is this yours only or is this open to public one?
I think can Google, but there are many versions of MM2H. Let's say today you Google MM2H 2024. There are a lot of versions of it.
Okay.
Particularly because from our government is in Bahasa Melayu.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of translation, when you see that, right, it's not that accurate.
Okay.
So I'm referring to that one is like Bahasa Melayu lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can. Okay, let's go platinum, gold, silver.
Correct.
Then later we only try to go down the rest lah.
Yeah. So first one, MM2H Platinum. Let's talk about the first one, financial requirement. I think it's a bit crazy. You will need USD 1 million.
Okay, before we go with 1 million, right? Like straight away stop there. I can't even proceed. So what's the difference between platinum, gold, and silver first?
Not much difference if I were to refer here. The only is whether you're allowed to have employment or business or investment opportunity in Malaysia. Platinum, you're allowed to do business here. Whereas the gold and silver, you're not allowed to.
Means you cannot set up a company to do business lah. Or
Actually can one.
Yalah, Malaysia kan boleh, selalu boleh. But I think
it's just that what I think the government want to say based on the guideline here is that if today you are applying gold or silver, by right you can't be using this MM2H gold or silver to, by default, you can set up business in Malaysia. You will have to go through a certain of business application if you want to set up a company in Malaysia. But I will not say you are completely not allowed to.
Okay. But I think the intent lah. So I think when you want to apply, if you are here to do business, yet setting up a family, setting a house, so your kids get to go to school, then you want to expand your business from where you came from here, then you can apply the
Platinum one lor.
Then gold and silver, it's not allowed lah.
Yes.
Then what's the difference between gold and silver?
Gold and silver, actually not much difference other than the financial requirement.
No, but again, the thing is that why would somebody then apply silver when you can get gold?
Why would somebody apply platinum? Why not they just apply the most basic minimum, which is the silver? most affordable.
Yeah, so that when there's no difference.
Even we call it should we call validity? The length of stay that you're allowed when you apply for MM2H Platinum, Gold or Silver. So the MM2H Platinum, it will last you for 20-year validity. The Gold one, 15 years, and then the Silver one, 5 years.
That's the main thing lah. So if every 5 years, you can actually renew.
Yes.
But
so that one,
the risk is the government might change. And even with the same government, MM2H will change. So I think that's the reason why people would want to lock gold instead of silver.
But you see, the validity, let's say the platinum will grant you for 20 years, followed by the gold 15, and then the silver at 5 years, right? But the MM2H renewal process, they will still have to do it on a 5 years basis one. So that one will involve a certain fees lah. So here, renewal fees mentioned 5,000 for platinum, 3,000 for gold, 1,005 for silver. Ringgit Malaysia, not USD.
Okay.
That's why a lot of, I think, 中国 YouTuber, they kind of like commented, this platinum MM2H
for
doesn't
what?
make sense. Why so expensive? Because eventually, it doesn't grant you a permanent residence after all. Yeah, so they think that it's not that worth it. So actually, a lot of the current ongoing application, when I talk to MM2H agent, is the silver one.
Everybody just take silver lah.
Silver.
I think
Majority.
so too, because since you're going to go for renewal every 5 years anyway, so even if I grant you 15 or 20 years, right, every 5 years I still need to see you. And when I see you now, the appointment fee is higher, 3,000 and 5,000. I don't think it's about the fee, because to them it's nothing, ringgit cheap. But it's the benefit versus the cost kind of thing.
The cost, yeah, correct. Because other than the financial requirement, the length of stay you're allowed in Malaysia, the other category, which is when it comes to, let's say here, healthcare, education, all these three categories are actually the same. You can enjoy the medical benefit here, and then you can actually let your kids or whatsoever to study here. It's the same.
They won't lah. Because local also don't send already. Oops. But it means they get to go to government school and government hospital lah.
Yes,
if
correct.
you have this MM2H lah. I think this is the very, very big thing, right? For those who are very interested in Malaysia.
I think 中国人, they come here because of kids' education. The Korean as well.
So I think here means government school, right? Not international, not
they are
private,
allowed to do all.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
their kids are allowed to study in Malaysia at least.
Okay. So,
but the application, all this, I do not know. Ask him.
Okay. Just because I have a kid, nothing special. Okay, not because I have a special connection and all. Okay, now we know kind of the different packages that comes with it. Platinum, we need $1 million.
Correct. The gold USD 500,000. And then the silver USD 150,000.
But this needs to be in FD, or I need to bring in.
Okay, so the interesting part here is that with the latest of MM2H, all these financial requirements, you are allowed to park it in fixed deposit FD. But after your MM2H already gotten the approval, you are allowed to withdraw 50% of the money, depends on which tier you go for, to invest in property in Malaysia or for medical purpose or tourism. And you are compulsory to do that, especially property purchase. So this is a new one comparing to the previous MM2H.
And with that, they will have a separate price limit, right?
You see, because the MM2H 3 tier, it doesn't specify here what are the minimum entry property price as a foreigner when it comes to MM2H package. It doesn't state here. So I think it's still stick back to the land. No? So let's say Selangor, if let's say it's 2 million ringgit Malaysia. If let's say today you purchase property in KL, then it's 1 million. You need to, I think, still pass the threshold of whatever the local state authority set one.
Because I have a different version of it. So like when you have no MM2H, you are required to buy in KL 1 million.
Yes.
But
investment.
if you are in as MM2H, okay, you are in already, you are silver, right? You bring in $150,000. Half of it, which is $75,000. You use that to buy a property, and the limit now becomes 700,000 only.
7 I think the guideline here they mentioned is the minimum you must purchase is 600,000 ringgit Malaysia.
You see, Malaysia lah. The number.
But the thing is,
there's no final.
Confusing.
Yeah.
Minimum 600. But let's say today you buy is KL, the minimum is requirement is 1 million. Unless today you purchase in Medini lah, there's no minimum pricing.
Okay. So meaning if I want to buy in Medini where there are no limit in terms of the land, the minimum should be 600,000. Okay.
So
great
this one
news for.
It's a bit still a question mark lah.
Great news for Singaporeans lah. Very close ma.
Singaporean right now, a lot of question actually is ongoing to which lead to the next one. MM2H, SEZ and SFZ.
Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah, the second version lah. So
I'm like going on a roller coaster.
So this MM2H special economic zone, special financing zone, the SEZ version still question mark because we do not know which area of Johor. So SEZ, SFZ definitely is Johor. Is our Yang di-Pertuan Agong recent announcement. The SFZ is right now confirmed one location area is Forest City lo, the Gold City lo.
No lah, don't say that, yo.
Yeah, later people comment
later
here
nobody
already.
want to watch this. Later this one kena. Okay.
But this is what people claim.
No. I think they say it's a Gold City or whatsoever.
But for me, it's actually not lah.
That's what you say. Yo, my God. Okay, what I'm trying to say is it's a very beautiful abandoned city. Really, like if you go, like a lot of my audiences actually they went, they take picture, right? They all ask me why is this abandoned?
Actually,
all
it's
infrastructure,
very
the
well
landscape, all well done.
Yes.
Only the sales office lah.
It's just that I think why because a lot of YouTuber China people
No lah,
they come here, they review
the media lah.
Yeah.
They come and just want to get some eyeballs on it to say how bad, right? But actually it's not. On weekends got a lot of people one.
Yeah.
My friend all go there and use the fake beach. Really actually not bad one. Actually not bad one. It's just that but I was around during their land filling phase already. At that time I don't have drone yet, so I took my Tan Sri's helicopter. So I take picture like, how they build so fast. Then they build everything fast, man. Fast. So that's why I lose my job. But because we all are always kept in comparison, like how they do construction of a hotel in 8 months' time. 8 months times our drawing pun belum approved lagi. So but that one is a whole different thing. That's why now you got a special zone, SFZ. What does it mean? Special economic zone.
Economic zone and special financing zone.
Forest City is which one?
Forest City is SFZ.
This is the one with the
zone.
tax incentive for
correct.
For all the income. So now it's like flat 15%. Then for others you got 0 if it's a company and family or all this kind of thing.
I think the latest announcement on SFZ is confirmed already official since they already announced it. SEZ, which area or location is still a question mark to categorize SEZ. SFZ, pretty sure right now is a forest city already. So
I thought it's special forest city zone.
Oh yeah.
I initially thought it was that one. They're like, they named the scheme after the township. No lah, it's actually finance.
So of course they want to revamp the
whole
Gold
branding.
City lah.
I think it's fine. To me, right, I absolutely appreciate it. If that town is revived, guess what happens to the whole Johor?
Not to say that lah. I think eventually if this economic zone and special financing zone really working in a long period of time, long term, Johor, I think I'm not sure whether it will outperform KL, but I mean, people also claim it right now as the next Shenzhen.
But that story 12 years ago, I hear until I used that pitch to sell property one last time. 12 years ago.
So back to this SFZ is, like you said, whoever workers that actually working in Forest City, they will get personal tax rate, I think as low as 15%.
Flat.
And then those company, this one also I just learned about it, these terms which is called Family Wealth Officer. So that one is very famous in Hong Kong. So this one is like first in Malaysia where company actually setting up this wealth family. Is that called Family Wealth Office or Wealth Family Office? I'm not so sure. Okay, 家族生意 in Chinese they call it. So like billionaire all this 李嘉诚they want to ensure that their next few generation all got money one mah. It's not like what's the Chinese word called? If you are rich, it can last you for how many generations? 3 or 4. That Chinese.
You see, two of us Chinese don't know Chinese.
If you are rich, then you want to ensure that your generation lasts for the next 3 decades. I don't know lah. So this is the first in Malaysia where whoever company that set up this wealth family office is 0 corporate tax. Things like that. So all this is the current new thing where the government will do when it comes to special financing zone. So it's more to the business opportunity, especially to bring and attract billionaire or those wealthy people to come here lah, to spend money in Malaysia lah.
And I think that is nail on the head to me lah. Because originally, who actually are the owners of these units? The original is when you buy 1 unit back in China, you get 1 free here. That was how it was sold. Because you see, our property is so cheap compared to theirs. So our property is a free gift.
Free one.
It's a free gift to their purchase in China.
So free gift, that's why they don't appreciate and
they don't care.
Yeah lah.
So then only those who followed the crowd, after those who got it for free, it somewhat created a hype. Then they sold it as the next Singapore, which I don't think it's the next Singapore. It's close to Singapore, that's about it.
It's just that the distance is very close to Singapore. So
but you still need to go through the customer. It's not like you can swim over also. But the thing is, when you watch the marketing, right, as if it's Singapore. So I watched the marketing back then because I watched it built ma. So that was how it was marketed. So when you look at that, right, so when people accidentally found us in Medini last time,
they thought we are Singapore.
Then it becomes very irresistible because our price, locals are so cheap. Again, with all the cheap, this whole episode again. But that is the whole schemes of things that when I was selling properties in Johor.
That was at 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So like because we were located very close to Legoland, and I still remember this story very vividly. This China dude came in with the family. So the family, he requested from the marketing team that he requires bodyguards. Okay, you rich, we know lah. Okay, good that we know because we have our own security team. So we take care of him. Then he passed to the kid. The team brought the kid to Legoland, very happy. And they gave a stack. We need some pocket money.
Or cash like that.
This is hundreds like that. The rest you take. I got so worried because I was the almost person in charge at the time. I worried the security team will kidnap me. So I got my own team to go and facilitate and jaga the fleur lah. Then when he was shopping, our property is really about 1/10 the value of his house in China.
At least you got 110. I thought a month.
And that one is already 1 million. We are already selling 1 million. At the time, the property price that I was selling is already higher than Mont Kiara.
Easily more than 1,000 PSF. For sure.
So their property is like, okay, 1 million, that means that 10 million, that's the normal house. So there's one, the big mansion one, that one is family one. This one is just like an escape house kind of thing. Like.
Summer house.
So when you buy how much would it go for 1 stack? So they want to buy for 1 stack. But ultimately, the long story short, right, it didn't happen because a lot of Malaysian developer, they dare not receive that amount of cash also. So now, a lot of companies actually prefer financing. They dare not collect so much cash because they don't know where's the source of the cash.
Don't want to say that words lah, that term.
Correct. So if you look into Singapore right now, a lot of people kena caught. They buy landed home, right, to find out that all are dirty money. Laundered money. So I can see why. That's why in London also, if you want to buy UK property, right, this term is very, very strict there. They want to see your business activities, your account activity. You must declare and write everything very clearly. And part is a very important criteria before you get a loan.
I think some of the developer in Malaysia still not allowed a full cash buyer. You can be a cash buyer. It can't be 100% completely cash buyer.
Yeah. So they also want to make sure that you go through the filter of the banks.
Correct.
So to make sure everything is in order.
Correct.
So that's why Malaysia, in terms of financing, very strong, and in terms of the regulations and things like that.
We are improving definitely if were to compare to 10 years
have some
ago, right?
You want to promote a bit, so cannot you? Okay, so SEZ, FFZ.
Okay.
After that, still got Sabah Sarawak.
Correct. So let's talk about the financial requirement of this SEZ and SFZ. So if I were to compare to just now the MM2H 3 tiering, for MM2H, SEZ, SFZ, the minimum requirement in terms of financial requirement when it comes to those aged below 50 years old is only at USD 65,000.
Wow, half
Yeah. So it's a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
Whereas those aged 50 and above planning to retire in Malaysia, especially Johor, I think Singaporean will be a very good choice. It's only at USD 32,000. Yeah. Pretty affordable. What do you think so?
Yeah. Especially when they are in Sing dollar.
Yeah. So, and they are also allowed to withdraw 50% on the purpose of purchasing a house, education, healthcare, tourism.
Question, right? This means when I apply for this, right, how is it tied to a location?
So MM2H, the 3 tiering that one, and also this MM2H SEZ, SFZ, you do not need to residing in the state that you're applying for a long-term basis. The minimum is as long as you stay 90 days, you pass already consider.
So it means, right, I need to stay in Forest City for 90 days.
Correct. That's it, lor. Then you can travel to KL, Selangor, Sabah, Sarawak, or you're back to whatsoever your origin country.
So we should do medium-term rental in Forest City. Does that mean?
I think someone already do that, right?
No wonder. So if I am a Singaporean, right? Let's say if I'm a Singaporean, I come in, I need to reside there 90 days while applying, or I apply first, only go and reside.
I think one of the story very interesting. I share with you. Let's share here also, which is related to this.
I thought offline.
I think it's quite a norm. Can I say is that a norm that Singaporean travelling in out Malaysia, especially Johor. But if let's say today Singaporean they come to Malaysia, the maximum length you're allowed to stay is 90 days. So when you exceed that, of course you will have to either transit somewhere and back to Malaysia to grant you another 90 days. So I have this client. He is a Singaporean. Girlfriend is Malaysian, working in Johor.
Okay.
And he has also kind of like a business set up in Johor also. So majority of the time, he actually, travel very frequently in and out. Until the frequency is too a bit jialat that the immigration of Malaysia actually kind of like warned already. But he still fulfill the 90 days, so then I go back, I come back again. It's just that the frequency. So...
Okay, wait, question. So, meaning at every 89 day I come back, every 89 day I come back? Or it's every weekend I come in and out?
Something like that.
What do you mean of...
His travel is, sometimes he can exceed like close to a 3 months period in Malaysia. He stay like that.
Because like, I thought Singaporeans come into JB very often.
Very often. Yeah, you see how frequent you do so lah.
But now, I think this story is true. Like all of my friends who are working in Singapore, also they are checking already.
So it's just that he told me the immigration of Malaysia kind of like warn. I don't know what kind of warning is that. But he was asking me, what are the solution? So I said, married your girlfriend who is Malaysian, right? That's the easiest. Then the latest one, of course, with this SEZ. And SFZ, which is a little bit more affordable compared to the 3 tiering. I think some, especially Singaporean, it can be one of the options for them to consider.
Again, like, is I apply already, only go and stay, or I stay first, only go and apply?
Okay, so the application of MM2H, right? First one is the financial requirement. So let's say you go for silver, USD 150,000. You must ensure, first of all, you have this money in your own country of origin. Okay, it can be in Sing dollar, it can be in China yuan or whatsoever, depends. Okay, so when you first apply for MM2H, it doesn't require to show this FD money to the government of Malaysia. You don't have to. Okay, but you just have to do the minimum of the requirement, which is your personal information, your dependents information, things like that. When you already pass all these category, then they grant you at least MM2H pass approved already. Then when you at a point in time when you want to come to Malaysia, right, then only you have to open the bank account, park in the money. The grey area here is that it's also a question is because the previous MM2H guideline is not compulsory for you to purchase the property in conjunction when you apply for MM2H. It's not compulsory step together. But right now, it looks like upon your MM2H already gotten the approval,
Must
you
buy.
at least must figure out your property where you want to buy, things like that already. Because last time they give you at least a 1 year period from the moment your MM2H got the approval. You got 1 year to think okay, I want to buy this property, that property. But looks like right now, seems like cannot. So it's still a question mark.
Wow. I think the channel is going to explode.
So the thing is that I think those that planning to apply right now, they must have a plan ready where they want to stay, what property. They must start shopping ready in a way. So I think property Malaysia.
Let's go. Selamat datang ke Malaysia. But okay, so I think it means you apply first prior to your arrival lah.
Correct. On the MM2H application. Yeah.
So my question, right, again is like, if I were to apply, let's say I'm a Singaporean, so okay, my girlfriend nagging and but I still cannot go eat because of the immigration, okay? Now I want to apply. I apply from Singapore for SFZ. So I apply, I send in my application, then they give me like a conditional or offer approval. That means that I need to move into Forest City for 90 days first.
No need.
Then what's the point? Like, it's not tied to a location also?
How to say, let's say in a 365 days in a year, right? You only have to stay like 90 days. But other than whatsoever, where you want to stay, where you want to travel, it's up to you. Because the minimum you must stay here is 90 days. That's it.
Because I'm worried, right? Like when you say that SFZ is only Forest City, like if that is the case, then there's no meaning to Forest City. What I'm suspecting is this SFZ, the money that you come from the 65,000, 50% of it must be a unit in Forest City.
Okay, so this one I think very important. Thank God Sean bring it up. So SFZ, the 3 tiering, there is nowhere stated in the current guideline to state that you must purchase a property, be in a second-hand, sub-sale, or whatsoever. But the SEZ and SFZ already stated here that you must purchase a house directly from the developer and you can't go through the real estate agent or any existing owner.
Oh.
Okay, that's it. The guideline, that's it. So, like I said, SFZ is already confirmed it's Forest City, So, direct purchase developer is...
Straight away from the China developer lah.
Maybe lor.
No. So, okay. So, now, okay. We know that it's from the source. The source, so must be from developer. Now, my question is again, like, can I buy from anywhere or not? Okay, SFZ, okay, I come in, I got like 65,000, so I need to use like 32,500 to get a property, which is 100 over 1,000, a lot lah. Then I buy. Why am I holding the mic? So excited. When I buy, so do I buy in Johor only, or can I buy some Genting property or some Kuantan property that I still reside in?
I think it's still tied back to which MM2H you apply. Let's say it's MM2H SFZ, then already confirmed official right now is Forest City.
Then you must only buy one Forest City unit from the developer.
I guess so. I do not know.
Ooh.
But the thing is right now, SEZ is still a question mark on the area and the location.
Wow, then everybody will be fighting for that lah.
So actually some of the Chinese YouTuber already kind of like promote this Forest City lah, because they themselves is actually the MM2H runner agent, and also they got a license that whoever, let's say a Zhongguoren come here, they can help you to apply MM2H and get your property.
Wow. Well, it's really just saving the
not to forget SFZ. If I were to say to link it to high-speed rail,
yeah,
potential one, especially with our new Yang di Pertuan Agong.
I heard from a few sources already. It's there.
Yeah.
The stop is there.
I do not want to speculate, but that's what I hear.
Gelang patah will explode. Pekananas not really, but actually
but it's
Pekananas is very
something
close.
At least a mega booster lor.
Mega.
If it comes, then if it doesn't, I don't think our Yang di Pertuan Agong will not do anything to his state, right?
I need to shift my portfolio already. Not enough property, not in southern area. Okay, so
because you see here the guideline, they already mentioned that when it comes to the purchase of residential property, the purchase of the house must be directly from the developer. They mentioned here, unless they change.
Meaning is to clear a problem, the hangover.
That's why I say I want to bring
overhang.
back the forest city.
Hangover is the other thing.
Oh.
So, okay, let's not drill too far. Sabah Sarawak.
Sabah Sarawak, I do not have much of the info actually.
But
the
agak-agak
latest one.
tu macam mana?
Sabah Sarawak MM2H is also as par as like the SFZ and SEZ. It's like 50,000-60,000 Sing dollar lah.
Because before this revision, right, everybody was going through there.
Sabah.
Yeah, because I just came back from Sabah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, whoa, here very popular.
But the last version, Sabah Sarawak, the requirement when it comes to financial, they still need you to have an active or offshore income on a monthly basis. I think 10,000 or something. I'm not sure whether they changed this or not. I mean, a lot of people actually share with me, my client, their roadblock pass last time why they can't commit because they can't bring in the active income on a monthly basis. So right now, all these don't have ready ma. It's a bit more lenient for them to do so. They got money, I come lor, I apply lor.
This is so interesting. Thank you very much for doing all this. Like you look into the list.
Just referring
wow,
all this.
A lot of words. A lot of words. I'm just here like as just like good. So thank you very much.
But there's a checklist lah for those that really opt in wanted to apply for MM2H.
So I think for foreigners who are listening to this, right, the first experience that you get from a Malaysian point of view, it's the uncertainty of the latest updates. Like don't even say foreigners, like locals also don't know. So we
can change.
And we change also like nobody know one. And the worst thing is even though after it's announced in the media, not necessarily it's executed on ground. So don't come to us and say like, hey, it's on the newspaper. Doesn't mean shit. It's still like that one. So that's the very first Malaysian culture that you have to adapt to before you're welcome to Malaysia. Then the second thing is when you come in, like you have platinum, gold, silver, you have to buy a property, right? Suddenly, as a investor, I am very happy lah. Like an investor with a portfolio, I am very happy lah.
And they are not allowed actually to sell their property within the first 10 years.
So it will hold value lah.
Yes, correct.
So it will not be for speculative purposes and activities lah. It then leads to very big sadness because local Malaysians, right, cannot afford already. Like as we speak right now, right, Desa Park City is no longer something that we can afford already.
I can't. I do not know about you.
Hey. But really, like it's so expensive now. And just when we thought it's already the peak, it's getting worse. Right? And to them, it's still cheap.
Cheap, pretty cheap.
So what is the second option after DSP? That is a very big thing that I am looking at personally. Right, so okay, that one, everybody know that they want to ketok all the foreigners one day, they want to go somewhere else, right? Where do they go to? So that's why now the amount of research, right, there will be another different dimension of does this attract foreigners?
You mean with the latest of this, especially all this MM2H
yeah.
and what our government do? I think yes lah. I think let's talk about the nearest country, our Singaporean, our neighbor, which is I think when I first say the third category, foreigner with Singapore permanent resident. So I've got one case, pretty exciting recently one. So he is a Philippines, got kids, all this, working been some time in Singapore already. Even gotten Singapore permanent residence. But due to he's not citizen of Singapore, PR only. So when he purchased property in Singapore, everything very expensive. Not to talk all this additional buyer stamp duty, crazy.
Now HDB 1 million is a norm. Sing dollar.
So foreigner purchasing property in Singapore and then with all this restriction and all this ABSD, so it's also, I mean, for this client, he's considered to stay in Malaysia lah, which is Johor. So got all this question lah, with all this SFZ, SEZ, will it be able to help his situation better? I think it is lah, if you ask me. It's at least it's the options for foreigners, Singaporean, be it you want to retire in Malaysia, or for younger, a bit is like education. At least the living expenses in Malaysia is not that high as of now, if I were to compare to our neighbor country, Singapore.
I got audiences who are Singaporeans who are actively sending their kids to Malaysian school. International school lah, private school in Malaysia. Especially the Medini area lah. Iskandar Putri area, not Medini.
Yeah, I heard because it's follow the US syllabus.
And it's not as stressful also. Then when they are there, might as well buy a property. And now the main problem is every 90 days I need to go back. So now with this, right, then it becomes very easy. And if they don't own any HDB in Singapore, if they already went private, right, or the EC or whatsoever, suddenly, right, the rental from the property in Singapore is already enough to support the lifestyle in Malaysia.
Correct.
So now that's the whole transition right now. A lot of people thought that we want to go in and actually everybody want to come out.
Right now, HDB or EC use that to stay in Malaysia lah.
Because if they right after their MOP, right, all free already ma. So it's going to be so interesting. Wow.
I think this one bring back to our previous the dilemma of Malaysian working in Singapore, that one lah. People thought that I comparing the performance of both country properties. Ayo. Sorry,
but
guys.
I think it has always been designed like that, the existence of Johor and Singapore lah. But with the HSR,
this one.
If that really happens,
let's hope for the next few months what will be the upcoming news, right?
So like this really marks almost a paramount, right? If this really does happen in the next 3 years, right, or 5, or meaning the first pile really just go into the road, right? The whole story lah.
Wow. I mean nowadays like Malaysia also kind of like a bit positive already. Currency improving.
And industrial land is also very expensive now.
Yeah, so happy. Suddenly so proud of become Malaysian, right?
Only if you have a foot in the game as a Malaysian. Property is going to make money. Stock market is going to make money, right? Everything is going to go up in value. Are you in?
Are
you even in? You get what I mean? So
everyone want to see, look, wait.
See lah, yeah, property will collapse one. This story for the past 12 years already, like, I hear. I joined this industry, right, 14 years, 16 years. Every year, one lah, Malaysia tak boleh harap. Until now, right, tak boleh harap. It's now got a bit harapan, or imagine. But just that again, right, for a lot of foreigners also, just a quick tip. Maybe I will make a separate video about this, right? Is to always have that mindset of local when you want to buy. Don't because everything you convert back. Oh, in China this is cheap. In Australia this is cheap, right? For locals this is even cheaper. You are actually clearing. So I think for foreigners, right, just be very open about it. The government is using you guys to clear stocks that locals don't want to buy. It's just stock clearance.
Can't afford to enter lah.
Yeah, it's just stock clearance, but just in comparison, right, the highest price items, right, that locals don't want, right, is still cheap for you all.
Correct. It's still cheap in your country of origin, maybe.
And the amount of infrastructure, the level of infrastructure, I think it's very comparable. In Johor, a bit discount, but in KL, very good. So that's my point of view. And then as locals, right, we need to add another dimension from an exit strategy point of view. Like now when we rent out, right, there will be foreigners coming to rent already, especially if you are eyeing on JB property, right? It's going to be a whole conversation altogether. I just text my friend who is working in Singapore but travels every day from Iskandar Putri. He stays in the project that I designed. So I asked you, ask you something. Why you want to ask me rental? How much is it? I said yes, 900 per room, middle room.
Room, 900, yeah.
No ensuite one.
Master room can be as high as 1,000, 1,200. Yes.
So if you have a 3-bedroom, right, in Iskandar Putri area now, it's easily 3,000. Back then when it's compared, right, it's 1,200 also nobody want the whole unit.
It's improving. I mean, when I look at the rental trend, at least for the past 3 years lah, because we do have projects in Madini, Iskandar, so all these kind of know the trend. It's really picking up.
Yep. Okay lah. We need to...
Itchy already.
I need to submit my loan to Rena now. Okay, so I think that's all. You still got anything to add on?
I think I'm good.
Good lah. Always every time see you got a lot of this kind of very juicy things, and these are so meticulous. Like I look at the file,
I mean,
right?
I think I just share about whatsoever my experience and my journey when I handling my client portfolio lah. Whatever story they share to me lah.
Let's comment further. Get Rena back, right? For maybe just make her permanent residents of the channel. Then she can just come and just share story of how one application can be done and things like that. But maybe you need to speak Mandarin.
可以，我讲华语。
其实讲华语。
嘿
Yeah, actually both of us can speak Mandarin, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that
yeah.
the team behind the camera cannot.
It's just that maybe the terms is not the accurate lah. Let's say loan 贷款。
But I think, right, for foreigners, they don't understand what we are saying right now.
Especially what 中国人啊。
No lah, meaning like if English is not your primary language, right? Then suddenly got Guangdong, suddenly got Cantonese, suddenly got Bahasa Melayu, Bahasa Malaysia.
We must come back with a 咸蛋 already. 咸蛋 podcast.
咸蛋 podcast.
咸蛋上蛋。
Wow, so I think this marks a moment in time when we see all this, we see the price of property, and it's so good to, I don't want to say this, but mark my words. Last time, right, my property too expensive right now. But I'm also very concerned. Seriously, I am very concerned. So for like local Malaysians, you just graduate, right, at 24 right now, you're working hard now. You better work harder. Work harder, work faster. Just at least get your foot in the, at least get one, right?
I mean, if you ask me whether we will be following the footsteps of those like country right now, like China, Hong Kong, or even Singapore, I do not know.
But it's moving very. It's been a while since we feel so positive, right?
Yeah, it is.
For the past 16 years, never before positive one. So I think now there's this really positive feeling, and our rental yield, you can really see is picking up.
If you're talking about property transaction and loan borrowing, I think this year is our peak.
And all this haven't really executed yet.
Baru start.
Oh, baru start.
Wow,
Okay
so
lah,
confident now. I see.
Hola. But I think, okay, anyway, these are just for reference, right? If you get any more questions, you can just go to her Instagram account. I'll just put it down below. Or if there's any updates, I think we'll just try to put the website down below as well. Yeah, if anything, you can just ask her. Don't ask me. She's the expert here. And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys on the next one. Ciao.